validation. We've all seen this, right? Blah, 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 blah. This is out of the regs. But let's go to the cliff notes. So I'm removing all components of the previous product. And so I'm in biologics for a while and vaccines as well. So a lot of my slides are slanted towards that, but you can, of course, do the same thing for API. But antigen, mercury, aluminum, egg proteins, etc. I also have to remove bioburden, endotoxin, and detergents, right? Sometimes the worst case soil is actually the detergent that I'm using. Down to levels that are safe. What's the definition of safe? They have no impact on the next product or the patient with a large safety factor built in prior to using the equipment for the next product, right? That's basically the cliff notes for what is the cleaning validation. I need to prove this. I need to prove repeatedly that I can do this. Now what if I don't want to do cleaning validation? What if I want to do cleaning verification? Sample every time, or use PAT, is that acceptable? I can tell you there's a couple, anyone here, no? A couple sites that are doing just that. They said, you know what, we make too many changes, we have change controls, we don't want to evaluate all these changes every time, and the risk is a little high, they're form and fill at this particular facility, so we're going to do cleaning verification every time. We're going to take all these samples every time we clean, and we're going to wait on the results. Agency said, okay, that's what you want to do. Right? Because you look at the regs, it doesn't say the words cleaning validation, thou must have cleaning validation. It says thou must prove that the equipment is clean, right? Suitable for use. So that's what they're doing at their site. Why do we need cleaning validation? More than the reason because the auditors say so, right? More than the fact that the guidances say so. We need it because we have to. We don't want to say we have to. We need cleaning validation to ensure that our products remain safe and effective for our patients, right? I get my kids the flu shot every year, and even though I've worked taking the flu, I don't know how many of you have had this experience, but you take a medicine and then you work somewhere that makes that medicine, you're like, oh, yeah, maybe I don't want to take that medicine anymore. But so I make the flu vaccine when I was working at Sandy Pasteur, and I still give my kids the flu shot every year, but I don't want them getting any CP310, right, or 220 injected into their arm when they get the flu vaccine. So, and I don't want the vaccine to be safe and effective. I want it to effectively protect them if I'm going to put them through the screaming misery, right? Now all my kids have said, I want the nasal mist. I'm like, no. Make the nasal mist. I'm not giving you the nasal mist. So they all get the shot every year. Okay. The scope of your cleaning validation program. This is kind of a debate that lots of different sites have. Because when you start talking cleaning, there's all kinds of cleaning. There's environmental cleaning, room cleaning, equipment cleaning, all kinds of cleaning, column cleaning, filter cleaning. What is the scope of your cleaning validation program? And it could be different at your site than it is at my site. But it's very important that you define that scope up front, right? So you can put the bubble, as I like to call it, around what you're doing. So the cleaning must be validated for all product contact parts, is what we said at our facility. There's a difference between parts that come into contact with products and parts that are in the process flow path. So this is, when you're a cleaning validation geek, this is one of these very cool inside the bubble things. There's a difference between product contact parts and parts that are contacted by product. Right? Right? You get it? See? Isn't that cool? I know. So anyway, the top one is product contact equipment. Right? It's meant to be in the product flow path. It's inside of the tanks. The bottom, a glove box, might get product spilled on it, but it's not part of the product flow path, right? The product's not supposed to routinely see that. And if I do spill material onto the weigh box, I'm not going to scoop it back up and save it, right? It's waste. I throw it away. So my cleaning validation program wanted to address product contact equipment. But we didn't want to ignore the fact that this could happen, right? And this could cause a risk. So if I use this weigh box for 2 different products, right, and I spill product A onto the box and I don't clean it effectively, then when I put product B in the box, maybe theoretically, right, product A could jump into the air and jump into the vial. Now I have product A, which is product B, cats filled with dogs, right? It's a mess. So we did put these in our cleaning program, but we said visual inspection was sufficient. Like we didn't do TOC sampling, bioburden sampling. We said you just need to visually inspect them after you've cleaned them to make sure they're visually clean. And as many of you know, visual cleaning acceptance criteria are typically more stringent then anything you test in the field from a TOC or API-specific perspective, right, you can visually see very low. So at our site, we called our material, and this was one of those, I said it, and it stuck, and I was shocked that it stuck. We had BAM, right? I said, BAM, that's BAM, biologically active material, woohoo! And now everybody is saying, it's BAM, it's BAM. Even our vice president, well, that's a BAM material. Right? Of course we laugh, but okay. So we had BAM material and non-BAM material. BAM material was our product, the flu, the diphtheria, the Menactra, right? The actual product that engendered an immune response. And non-BAM material were things like the buffers, the medias, things that were not intended to engender an immune response from our process flow. I have to do cleaning validation on both, right? I have to get the buffers, the medias off from product A before I put product B on. But they're different, I can handle them differently from an acceptance criteria perspective. And then, I like to put this on there, we had our cleaning validation team. This was our mascot, a scrubbing bubble, right? And I put that on there too because I like to talk a lot about inside the bubble. So when you're in the cleaning validation realm, right, you need to understand specifically more cleaning validation techniques and terms. But to people outside the cleaning validation bubble, a lot of it sounds like Greek, right? How many of you get that deer in the headlight look all the time when you talk about cleaning validation stuff? Yeah. I just visited my parents last weekend, and they wanted me to help them with their computer at home, do a little stuff. And I said to them, do you need to have administrator rights to add programs to your computer? They both did that. Like, what are you talking about? What'd you say? Yeah. So you're going to get that look for people outside the bubble. So you need to learn how to talk a little bit so they can understand it.